call the regular council meeting of the Village of Graham to order on December the 4th, 2017 at 7:35 p.m. at the Graham Community Center. And for prayer, we have Pastor Dave Phillips from the North End Baptist Church. He's drawn a lot of duty lately.
Yeah. When you're the head of the ministerial, sometimes you have to fill in for those that can't make it. So I've been here a few times, but that's okay. I enjoy coming. And thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. So let's open with prayer. Thank you, Lord, for this day. And I thank you for the opportunity tonight to gather with the council and be able to just pray for this island, Lord. We're very thankful for this community that we live on. And we pray that you would help each and every one of us that live here to be able to contribute and make this a better place day by day. And I thank you for this past year and look forward to the year ahead and all the blessings you may bestow upon us. And I pray especially for this council, for the mayor, for all the staff that are a part of the work that goes on this island, many of the things that are done behind the scenes, many of the things we never know about. Lord, we just are very thankful for the time and energy and effort that is put into it. So bless them, watch over them, and help us always to remain thankful to you. I pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Last month I talked about Veterans in Remembrance Day. It was heartwarming to see the large number of people, both young and old, at the service at the Graham Community School, standing room only. Thank you, Graham-Anners and visitors, for honoring our veterans. The Christmas lights are on the poles, the village tree has been decorated, the Christmas parade is on Sunday, December the 10th. The parade begins at 6 p.m. at St. Paul's Anglican Church to the community center for an after party with hot chocolate and treats and Santa Claus. Alyssa and Esme picked up the ball on this after it looked like we weren't going to have any Christmas parade, and those two and the volunteers have done a great job and organized this event on very short notice. So thank you, people. Staff have been working on the budget for 2018, and as usual with the municipalities, the council does the rough work on the budget, and we'll be getting together shortly to have a look at it. And I know that probably some amendments will be made, so we can get that over with. It's going to be a difficult job, but we will do the best that we can to provide services that we're used to at a reasonable price. The council wishes everyone a safe and Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. Thank you. Number 4 is, before I do that, when people are speaking, if you can raise your voice a little bit and lift your head up so the voice will travel rather than just down to the table, please. Disclosure of conflict of interest. Number 5 is the adoption of the minutes of November the 6th, 2017.
Mr. Mayor, I've been going through the minutes. They're usually quite well done. The only thing that I would like to recommend and move on is that when it came to the bylaw committee, there was no mention of who those employees were, and I would like to have them added. And I believe that it was at the time, was Deputy Mayor Moses, Councilor Roger Simmons, and myself. So, I like for the, as I stated before, I like for the minutes to reflect those appointments.
So you heard the motion by Councilor Sturgeon with the addition of the names of those who were on the bylaw committee. Do we have a seconder?
A seconder.
Seconded by Councilor Cheney. Question? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. And additions to the agenda under new business is library board. We need a new member, and when it comes on the agenda, Councilor Fitzsimmons will look after that. Also, the building bylaw amendment, it was tabled from last meeting, from the November 6th meeting. And bills to pay, Alpha Security, services, Christmas lights, and Lightos maintenance.
Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to add RSC Region 10 meeting to closed session. I mean, it should be a closed session.
So, Alpha Security, is that,
That's Mike, the lights on the poles and Opus
is
Roll.
from the general operating, eh?
Yes.
So that would be under 13.
What was the amount on that?
$2,021.13.
Thank you.
And the library board would be under new business. Probably 11.4. Building bylaw is under
Old business.
our business, so it would be 8.4. So now this is Isma's job. RCMP report.
I would move to accept the agenda
Oh.
with the additions.
I thought we had that.
I hear that, I believe it was Deputy Mayor Moses. Can you make the, move on to the member guys, but I didn't have a seconder, that's all.
I did not make the motion.
Okay, very good, my mistake, yes.
Okay,
I moved.
you moved.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay. Now, all those, question? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. I've had a hard couple of days. Not much sleep. Okay, the RCMP report.
Hi there, good evening, Mayor and Councilors. My name is Constable Corey Bryant, CRCMP here, and I'll go over the monthly report. So, criminal code calls, we had 25, 3 for assault, 1 for criminal harassment, 1 unauthorized use of computer, 3 impaired driving, 1 theft over 5,000, 1 theft under 5,000, 1 identity theft, 6 calls for mischief, 1 for uttering threats, 1 for harassing communications, 1 for disturbing the peace, and 4 for fraud less than $5,000. Federal statutes, we had 1 possession, Schedule 1, then 24 other calls, 6 for false alarms, 1 for assistance to another agency, 1 for crime prevention, 2 for Corners Act, 1 animal call, 1 well-being check, 2 for Trespass Act or other provincial statutes, 1 missing person, 2 mental health act calls, and 7 police certificates. For provincial statutes, there were 12 motor vehicle act tickets or warnings issued, 1 traffic collision that was reportable and 1 that was deemed non-reportable, and 1 investigation for failure to stop or remain.
Any questions for Constable Bryant?
Sorry, I'm just curious as to unauthorized use of computer. Any elaboration on that?
Look that up. Just give me a sec.
Someone using someone else's password?
Yeah, no, as I was reading that, Here. Maybe I'll get back to that in a few minutes. I'll go through and
Good.
see what that is and
Yeah,
just.
well, here's another one.
Yep.
The police certificate, is that when someone comes to the...
Yeah, so that wouldn't be something that we deal with. That's something the RCMP deals with, but it would be at the front desk. So,
Exactly, yeah.
so at the beginning of the school year, it'd be a lot busier.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
The fraud less than or equal to 5,000, that seems like a higher than usual number.
Yeah, I would agree.
It depends. Sometimes they're real investigations, not real, but all investigations are real, but some of them are in-depth investigations, and others it's people reporting that someone called to report that the Canadian Revenue Agency is investigating them, and so it might be a telephone scam.
Constable Bryant, I trust that traditionally the holiday season is usually time for more checkpoints and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that'll tradition will continue this year.
And I don't see any reason for it not to.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Number 8, under old business, is a DNR meeting, request for information, Deputy Mayor Moses.
Mr. Mayor, earlier this year, just before the game season, we had a visit from DNR affiliates, and they outlined to us what their game plan was for this year. I would like to send a letter to those, request another meeting for a follow-up to go over their feeling of their success or failure in this matter.
You heard the motion for Deputy Mayor Moses. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Sturgeon. Question? I hope you can get more information than we did when we met with them.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have some of our own to direct toward them.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. 8.2 is Building Inspector, CAO McPherson.
In your package is the email I get from the district commission for the building inspector. I know council is mainly interested in the inspection, but you have to sign up for the full meal deal to get them involved. The price tag here is $58 and $2,000 a year, and one of the questions was bylaw amendments and so on have come to find out that Grand Manan is not the only one that has, if not obsolete, building bylaws, some that are very, very old. The only community in District 12, that's Southwestern New Brunswick, has signed on is St. Andrews. The last meeting was about building code. One of the questions was building code, Canadian Building Code 1995, and lo and behold, St. Andrews had the same or bylaw, it was same as ours. These people are looking into it to see just about what it needs to amend that particular code in the bylaw. It takes a bit longer than just going at it the way that I thought it might have been done. This is strictly a information for council. It would be a budget decision. Probably by the end of this December, you have to decide. The $58,000 can be underwritten by the fees that is suggested in the package. For our development officer, we got about $7,000 in the budget for him. The hovering around about $45,000 to go with the commission on that. One thing the council has to be aware of, that there is legislation coming somewheres down the road that we will conform throughout the province. Sooner or later, if any of the other communities in our district sign up, then the annual cost goes down. One thing I did find out during the research is that Grand Manan has a very healthy tax base, and that's why our fee is so high. So if we have success, then you figure you're going to have to pay more. That's where we're at right now, and to go further would have to be council decision when it comes budget time.
See, first of all, I just want to make sure that things are clear here. So, the fees that are recommended here,
Yeah,
they're not in addition to the 58,000, so this will actually help recuperate our cost then?
yeah.
Okay.
Anything in there comes back to the village.
Okay, so these fees don't go to,
No.
okay, very good.
Any other questions on that?
This is just an information that we'll,
Yeah, right now,
Pursuant budget.
we get together and hash it out, and whether you want to go forward or the way we are now, one or the other.
as far as the out-of-date bylaws, that's a fault reflected back on council. We should be
Yeah.
reviewing our bylaws more
Yeah.
frequently.
Yeah. See, the bylaw has to go with the building code, municipal act, and it goes on and on and on.
But I don't think we're any different than any other municipality.
No, it's obviously we're not. no.
Just amended as needed.
So, okay then. We'll go to 8.3 is renewable power generation. Our request was declined. Rob?
I sent around the email that we got Thursday, indication that we didn't make it, the cut to the or the next going through the
Screening process.
the proponent about excuse me, I get my thoughts together, to go to the next level. There was no information in that. I've talked to our partner Interjex. They are pretty upset about it. They're pursuing it. They're going to be in a conference on the 12th of December. There is no criteria as to why Grand Manan was not go on to the next level. Interjex, I was talking to Daniel just before 5 o'clock. They have invested well over $100,000 in the preliminaries to the thing. They redid the wind forecast, and it's ideal on Grand Manan. The migratory birds has been looked at since I think August. There is no problem there. They're very close to the NV Power transmission lines, and on it goes. So till December 12th. We'll have to wait and see what happens from there. I don't know whether Mr. Mayor has something to add to that or not.
The only thing was, I talked to our MLA, and I said, that, you know, we just like to know why. Why weren't we moved on to the next process? There was no reason given. So he said he would do some inquiries to find out why it hadn't moved on. One of the things that would be a real promoter is we'd be 100% green. We have the wind, and the turbines would be out of sight, really, so. And from the public meeting, Councillor Sturgeon, what was it, 50 there?
Yeah, it was well attended. I believe it was 51, Mr. Mayor. at the time.
47 to 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
47 people was,
Yeah, there was, yeah, it was very, it was even less than that was opposed. It was very, very few. It was,
there was 2 that didn't care, I think, and 2 opposed it.
and there's, yeah, there was like 2, yes, that opposed overall.
So anyway, hopefully we can get some more information on that of why we were eliminated so quick. It may have been price, but you never know. So, 8.4 is building bylaw. Deputy Mayor Moses.
Mr. Mayor, our last monthly meeting, we tabled the update to the building bylaw to send it to the bylaw committee. Bylaw committee, myself and 2 other members have met. I did the legwork. I looked up the new changes in the new bylaw and compared them to our old bylaw. They all line up. Everything refers to the same numbers and parts. Therefore, in order to change this, we have to make a bylaw to amend the bylaw. So I would put forth that we consider bylaw number 017, the bylaw to amend the building bylaw 4-96, to read the adoption of the code. The building bylaw code of Canada 2015 is adopted by reference as follows, and the rest of the section is the same as what's there.
So you made that a
I'll
motion?
made that a motion, yes.
Do we
So we
have
have a motion to adopt it, so we can,
So do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Fitzsimmons. Question?
On the question, our existing bylaws say that we follow building code 2010 or 1995?
95.
1995.
So we're going past 210, right on to 215.
Yep, well, the most recent, so,
Yes.
yes.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that was the first reading.
this bylaw is hereby given the first reading. We can do it once more tonight. My name only, and third reading would be our next council meeting. So I move we give bylaw 0-117, a bylaw to amend the building bylaw 4-96, second reading.
Heard the motion by Deputy Mayor Moses. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Fitzsimmons. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Opposed? Motion carried. So now we have the 10-minute open session. But I should have commented at the first of the meeting, our CAO last week had lost his brother, so our condolences are out to Rob. Came from a very close family. So, what's he, 73?
73.
73. For you people didn't know, Roy, it's his last job. He had been a fisherman, but his last job, he was master of the Princess of Acadia. And anybody that you would talk to said he was one of the best. He was held in a very high regard. Okay then, Jackie Rayner of Public Health to speak to council on how municipalities can support breastfeeding.
Are you going to be able to hear me if I just sit here and talk loud enough?
I think so.
Okay.
You came from a good family.
Yeah. Yeah, he did something there. Yeah. So, good evening, Mayor and Councilors. Thank you for having me. As most of you know, I'm Jackie Rayner, the public health nurse here on the island. And just here, we have been really in public health and across New Brunswick within Horizon Health and the rest of New Brunswick, trying to normalize breastfeeding and really promote, protect, and support breastfeeding. So I just wanted to approach you this evening to let you know how, as a community, we can do that. So I'm just going to share a few slides with you to let you know. There's a couple stats here that I have. Let's see, I should just go to the next one. So about 80% of mothers choose to breastfeed their newborn baby, but only 26 are exclusively breastfeeding at 4 months. So there's some various reasons that women stop breastfeeding, but one of the biggest reasons are the lack of support that they receive. I don't know why that's just clicking forward here. So a lot of women stop breastfeeding earlier than they had planned. Many mothers who do choose to breastfeed face stigma in public places. They're often told things like, you're not allowed to do that here, that's gross, there's a bathroom down the hall. So we want to really get away from comments like this because they actually happen. A breastfeeding-friendly community helps mothers feel comfortable breastfeeding anywhere, anytime, and it also benefits the entire community. And how, you might ask? It attracts young families. So a lot of families choose to breastfeed, and so they're going to want to come to a community that they're going to feel supported in that. So that is one good thing. Attracting young families is good for the community. Improving health. So breastfeeding does reduce disease and illness. For infants, childhood diabetes, obesity, ear, chest, stomach infections, constipation, allergies, SIDS, and tooth decay. And the mother also benefits from a decreased risk of breast and ovarian cancer and osteoporosis. So obviously, it's really good for the health of the community. And in turn, that is going to save money because the less demand on the healthcare system. And it also saves families about $1,500 per year, so that's more money that they can spend in the community for various things. It also protects the environment, so there's no plastics, there's no waste going into the landfills, so of course it's environmentally friendly, which is also good for our community. And it also provides food security. So in times of ice storms, power outages, and that breast milk is always readily available. You don't need any electricity, anything like that, or any extra water. So it does provide food security in those times. And how you can make a difference is by supporting and creating an environment where families feel welcome to breastfeed anywhere, anytime. And it's really sparking a positive social change that can impact health, food security, economics, and environment. So breastfeeding is the norm, and we just want to, it kind of shifted, and then, so now we're trying to move it back as that is normal. And we wouldn't put down anyone that formula feeds their baby, that's completely fine too, but we want to make sure that mothers that breastfeed feel comfortable doing so on the ferry, or at the rink, or at the school, or wherever. We just want to make it normal for families. So the reason why I'm here tonight is to ask Graham and Ann to sign a pledge, and that pledge is here, and I'll just read it off to you here. So it says the Village of Graham and Ann will create a supportive environment for our employees and others in our community who choose to breastfeed by informing all staff that the right to breastfeed anywhere, anytime is protected by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, openly showing support by displaying the breastfeeding-friendly sign in our buildings and posting our pledge and signs on our town website. I can send those after. I have some stickers and a lot of we have window decals and those type of things you may have seen in the different businesses around. Providing a mother a safe place or a private place if she would like to breastfeed discreetly if requested. Defending a mother's right to breastfeed in public if she is criticized for doing so, and offering employees sufficient break time to either feed their infant or pump milk. And then there's a place for a signature at the bottom. So that is what I'm asking, and there is a bunch of other communities in New Brunswick that have agreed to sign the pledge and support breastfeeding, so I would love to be able to add Grenada to the list. And that is it. So may I just leave these here with you, and if you guys want to decide right now to sign it, you can, or you can talk it over and leave those. And you can distribute them however you see fit. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question of Jackie?
Sure.
Jackie, unlike most people, if not nearly everybody, that quite supportive of such a thing as this, but I'm naturally a bashful man as well as myself, so I guess can you give any tips or suggestions about when if someone, breastfeeds in public, which is great. I mean, what to do or not to do, or I guess, or anything in that regard.
So are you worried about if you see a breastfeeding woman?
Yeah, I guess that's basically it. I mean, kind of thing, so.
Okay. Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to get away from, because it is normal.
Yeah.
Breasts are not portrayed as a natural thing. Sometimes they're really sexualized, as you know. But that's what they're there for. They make milk. That is, that is the natural process. So we want to be, and most women are fairly discreet. And even so, you can turn and look the other way if you really don't.
Well, and this is the
that's,
thing, so, yeah.
Yep, so what we want is people to feel comfortable, and if they see a breastfeeding woman, then they don't have to be like, oh no, they're feeding their baby is what they're doing. So, and just like telling them to go to the bathroom, would you go to the bathroom to eat your food? No, right? So we just wanted to promote it to be a normal thing, and just support mothers who choose to breastfeed their baby. They're doing a great thing, and so we just want to be supportive. So basically, and if you don't agree with it, it's just keeping it to yourself, and letting and respecting their decision to breastfeed. And it is protected by the Charter of Rights and Freedom, so any woman is welcome to breastfeed anywhere, anytime.
Okay, thank
So
you.
we'd like the island to support that as well.
So what is council's wish? Mr. Mayor, I move that we sign the charter petition, or whatever Jackie called it.
Pledge.
Pledge to do as it was read.
You heard the motion by Deputy Mayor Moses. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilor Brown. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Fourth, I believe, Mr. Mayor.
So, under new business, 11-1 New Year's levy. Are we going through with that this year again? Everything was positive on it last year.
Was it always successful last 2 years?
Yeah.
Are you looking for a motion?
Well, I don't think we need a motion, but I thought that the Odd Rainbow done a great job there last year.
Catering minister, yes.
And staff is willing to go along, like you make the arrangements, I assume, staff does?
Jane Turner takes it on.
Oh, okay, very good.
We are good very well.
Well, you're so good at arranging everything else, so I was kind of curious. That's
So, again, it's the time,
It's on Monday this year, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was Monday. Early afternoon. I think that has worked best. I
Yeah.
think we do usually
that's what I'm
like
saying.
One or two,
One or two.
like for 2 hours, was it?
I think it
Yeah.
was,
Could do 1 to 3, and that gives us a chance to clean up and get home for the rest of the day. Does that make sense?
good. To be honest with you, I've attended them, but I can't quite recall.
no, they
I
found
believe the
it,
start time was 1, and things were pretty well cleaned up by 2, and cleaned up by 3.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
1 to 3.
Yeah, sure. Entertainment again, Mr. Mayor?
We're looking
Councilor
at
who?
Councilor.
He's looking past me.
You're moving.
I'm not singing.
No, it's just like we had Bev Toy one year, it was quite good, you know, and you, Cameron, another year. Yeah, Cameron, thank you. It was quite good, so anyway, I think it's fitting to have some.
Probably he has other plans.
Okay.
What's the date?
New Year's Day.
That should be good.
So you'll look after the,
I could do that, yeah.
okay, thank you. Entertainment, we don't need a motion for that.
No.
Okay. Long Eddie Lighthouse,
Long Eddie Lighthouse, some of this council was here, and long before this council was formed, the acquisition of Long Eddie's been on the go for 10 or 12 years at least, almost as long as Swallowtail. Plans and the deed from Her Majesty the Queen last month. This council instructed that for us to go through with the acquisition is that if we can get the Swallowtail Keeper Society involved, then we would pursue it very strongly. I have talked to Lori, the president, and she's been on side right from the start. She would like to have the Long Eddie Lighthouse amended to or attached to the same agreement we had with the Swallowtail. The village signed that in March of 13. It was for 20 years. The only thing that I would suggest that a new agreement put both Swallowtail and Long Eddie on the same agreement and go forward 20 years.
20 years from the original agreement or 20 years from now?
From now, then they'd both be on the same time. Or you could put it for whatever's left on the 20 years and renegotiate it then, I suppose. As you know, that the Swallowtail Keeper Society have raised and grants from the federal government well over, I would say, $500,000, all spent at Swallowtail. It's certainly an asset to the community. Lori's had a little bit of a health thing this last year, but back on her feet now, and they have plans for Long Eddie, there was light or windows in the tower out there. They have sourced some of them already and ready to put it in. And to clean up the grounds there. The alders are taken over. Hopefully, we can get at that before the end of this year, clean that up. Kenny has approached Coast Guard. The helipad out there is rotten, but because of the tourist people that go there, and the Coast Guard would like to have a helipad there, we're looking at having them replace it. That's not confirmed just yet, but apparently there's kit in St. John already bring it here and put it back together. And that would be a great asset.
And the cost of that helipad, that would come from the society?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, or?
Well, that's where we're at.
Not from us, though,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to clear up, okay.
Yeah, we're not making a commitment to that.
Okay.
Just, I guess tonight would be the agreement to go with SKS. Like I say, they're very excited to put it in their inventory.
Sarah, what do we have to do to do this on the legal side of things? Do we have to open that agreement with a lawyer and re-sign it?
I think if we could get a motion that either you're gonna go from 20, start the clock, put them together. There's a lawyer already ready to do the work for SKS.
Question I have, see, I'm the person in here who talks with Lori, you said you talked with? Did they express an interest whether they'd like to start from the original agreement or 20 years from now? Did they express
No,
anything in that regard?
they just want the,
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
it makes a good package for future council. They don't have to worry about it 20 years down the road after tonight.
Great.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion that we add Long Eddie Lighthouse to the agreement with Swallowtail Keeper Society pending the sign of a new lease that's drawn up, commencing 20 years from today, or commencing today for 20 years.
You heard the motion by Deputy Mayor Moses. Do we have a seconder?
Second that.
Second by Councillor Cheney. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 11.3, safety flares. Councillor Cheney.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Judge, Mike. I would just like to know what the protocol is now for the disposal of safety flares, marine flares in particular. I have a pillowcase full of them. I didn't think I should have taken throw them off the end of the wharf. I went to the transfer station. They advised me they really didn't want them. I went down to the RCMP barracks and was told that they no longer take them. So I thought maybe the volunteer fire department, I could leave them there like a baby's basket, or up to the DOT garage, or your residence. So I'm just wondering if there's been any, what we do with these with flares. Maybe they're deep sixed. Davy Jones Locker fishing boats have to take and renew them every now and then. So we should have something in place where we can dispose of these flares. We have the salmon industry as well. So I'm at a loss as to where to go next.
So who do we contact to find out what to do?
Have the fishermen get rid of their...
Bonnie takes them.
I'll take them down to the Fishermen's Association then.
Sure.
Is there any update on that, Bonnie?
I've not heard anything, and quite honestly, I know you talked to us just before the beginning of lobster season, and I lost that thread with everything going on. So that's the honest truth on that one. I can do a little bit of research through the association if you want to see if there's any options through Coast Guard or transport, but I'm not really sure what the best option is.
Mr. Mayor, Department of Defense comes down here occasionally, once or a year or so, and gathers spent explosives and other ordnance that they have no other way of getting the village, or people on the village have no other way of getting rid of. Perhaps we could contact them, see if they could be added to their list of disposables.
Do you say that's the Department of Defense?
Yep.
Okay.
That's a yearly thing?
Almost annually they come, yeah.
Right. It could be a while to hang on to them.
Do we have a safe depot, a combined cabinet, where we can keep these? We really don't want them in my basement, next to furnace.
No.
I will comment, on occasion, skull fishing and such, we do pick up the odd live ram. It's a nervous time aboard the boat when you foul, especially when rocks fall all around and such like that. So we'd rather not have anybody deep six them, as Councillor Cheney puts it, so.
Well, I think he was just referring to deep six was better than the pillowcase.
Oh, I didn't take it as a recommendation from Councillor Cheney.
No. Like we used to take them to the RCMP, and they had a safe cabinet that's no longer available.
We got directives not to accept them in longer either.
So, Deputy Mayor Moses, there's any way for you to contact those people?
I will endeavor to do that.
So we'll have two sources, we'll have Councilor Morse and we'll have Deputy Mayor Moses.
Thank you very much.
Item 4 is the library, Councilor Fitzsimmons.
Mr. Mayor, we've recently had a resignation from the library board, so to fill this opening, we'd like to make a motion to council to approve Heather Brown for the position.
You heard the motion by Councilor Fitzsimmons. Do we have a seconder to add Heather Brown to the library board?
I'll second it.
Councilor, seconded by Councilor Morse. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The bill from, can't remember that price. Okay, Recreation Director's report, please. Chris Rayner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a short report. November was a short month for me. I decided to take 3 weeks vacation and go fishing, so I wasn't around much in the month of November, but
That's what you call vacation?
yeah, it didn't take me long to realize I made a bad choice.
That's what everybody was telling me.
Dominican would have been better.
Everybody was telling me they went lobster fishing for a vacation. It must have been to eat the lobsters.
It was a treat. It really was. Anyway, early in the month of November, we worked on getting the Castalia Playground finalized. As most of you remember, Megan Greenlaw won the Wonderland Care about the Castalia Playground. All of that money that came from them, as well as donors that she had raised, all that money funneled through the village, because it's municipal property. So we've finally I passed out before the council meeting started kind of a computer drawing of what the playground is going to look like. Mind you, it's not that much room. It looks a little bit bigger than what it actually is. Plus the fence makes it look a little bit different, but it gives you a rough idea of the pieces that'll be added. Basically, pretty much replacing everything that was there with new CSA-approved equipment. So we had to, a lot of things that went with it, layout, sizes, color schemes. When it came to color, I thought it was appropriate just to let Megan, where she'd done so much footwork on that, for her to be able to pick what color she wanted. So they've got, you really can't tell from that photocopy, but it's an ocean blue theme. In that theme, it's got some purple, granite, tans, and reds, and of course the ocean blue. Thought that was really fitting because of the location. Delivery of the playground equipment is hopefully either just before the new year or just after. That was there, we'll have everything here in storage ready for when the ground thaws, everything put in the spring. Invoicing for that, we made it very clear to the group, we're working with ABC Recreation in Moncton, that the invoicing for that had to come because this will come out of the 2017 budget. The fitness center currently getting a little bit of a facelift, which is good. I don't think anything's been done to the fitness center since the building was originally built back in 2010, 2011. So it's good. Howard's in there giving a bit of a facelift, a little bit of paint and drywall compound goes a long ways to fix it up. I mean, it's still, fitness center is still going to be what it is. I mean, it's small, it's crowded. We're eventually getting some nice piece of equipment in there, plus this little bit of facelift. I think the girls pick up the colors, make it bright and cheery. Ocean blue. I'm half colorblind, so I wouldn't be here type what the color's going to be. And I think there was some talk of going down to the McDeckles to get some nice motivational stuff put on the wall, like sweat hard, all those different things to keep me going.
That's a good one.
That was a listen idea. November's been a bit of a slow month for the arena. With the adult user groups, mainly because of the lobster fishery that consumes so many of our adults, both male and female. So we decided to give everybody a little bit of a break on their monthly rentals. So we decided to give them a couple of weeks, bit of a break, just because so many people depend on that. We thought it was a nice gesture to do that to them, because if it wasn't for those user groups paying what they pay, the arena would be more of a burden than what it is now on the community. So I think everything went well with that. I was very pleased to have Councillor Fitzsimmons. He came and volunteered to learn how to drive the Zamboni. So after a week of crash training, he did very well. In the 3 weeks while I was gone, he Zamboni'd a lot. So I'm very thankful for Councillor Fitzsimmons for stepping up to give it a hand for that, for sure. But even though the adults aren't busy with the arena of the month of November, the minor hockey, as usual, is. So we have the development weekends, the weekend of November the 11th and 12th. The junior A team out of St. Stephen, the Aces, time out of their busy schedule to come down to do clinics with our children. They come down on a Saturday night, and they spend time on the ice with all of our different groups. And then they follow that up with an inter-squad game where we open it up to the public to come in to watch that level of hockey. And then everybody was up bright and early Sunday morning, fed the Aces breakfast. They had more on-ice clinics with all the different age groups, followed by a community public skate, where they had time for people to go out to get some autographs and different things, followed by feeding them supper before we sent them back to the boat. Gayla Guptill, who's operating our canteen this year, she catered the whole weekend, and as usual, nothing but positive reviews from that. Although she did say that she had no idea how much 21 hockey players, 18 to 21 years of age, could eat. kind of underestimated when she done up her figuring. Anyway, no one left hungry, which was good. So it was great for them to take time out of the busy schedule to come down for us. Other than that, we just got the ongoing work on the budget. Hopefully get a little bit of an increase to help improve our recreation infrastructure in 2018. Any questions?
I just had one, Chris, and I was down that weekend and watching it over, and the canteen was busy. Yeah, the kids, the young aces, they look so young in the cafeteria, but when they're on the ice with their uniforms and gear, they move so fast. I was really impressed with that, especially the Innisquad game where it was really, Councillor Fitzsimmons was on the ice, and it was up and down, ripping, no offsides practically, and no icings, just go, 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 go. And they seemed to be having a great time. And when they were with the kids on the ice, they seemed to be not put out, that they were having to work with kids. I think it's just amazing that they would come and do that. And it wasn't begrudgingly, what I could see. So I think that's a great rapport we have there.
Oh, it is. I had a chance to speak to all the players in the dressing room after the game. The coach drug me in and thanked us for the weekend and supplying all the food and me kind of looking after them. But it gave me a chance to thank them for coming. And one of the things I said to them was, you guys, as some of you are teenagers, some of you are young men, to be told where you have to go, things you have to do. Okay, you have to go to Grand Am, you have to do this with the kids, you have to do that. When you're told to do that, sometimes you don't always want to. But just by looking at their facial expressions, you knew that those young men actually enjoyed being out there with those kids. Everything from 4 years old all the way up to 17.
And some of those players are from the States? And Lord and St. Stephen at that age, 16, 17?
They are. Some was from as far as Florida and Minnesota, I believe. They're all across Canada.
Great, thank you.
And they love the ice here too. That's one comment they always make. The hard ice.
We get from a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And even this weekend, we had teams come this weekend. There was a team here that's never been here before, and parents come in and look around, and they're amazed at the facility that we have. And for me, traveling all over southern New Brunswick with my kids, seeing all the different arenas, other than obviously the Q-Plex and the new one to Garcelon Center, St. Stephen, we have one of the nicest facilities around, by far.
So our new lights are working great?
New lights are fantastic. Money well spent.
Good, hard, fast ice.
Councilor Fitzsimmons can see those calls to make.
The offsides and those two.
Pardon? Is that you? Kind of like a post office?
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
That's me.
Approval to pay the following invoices: Smith Monuments, Northhead Cemetery Repairs, $2,265.50. Debley Enterprises Paving at Swallowtail, $11,500. Memco Controls, a yearly contract, $9,250.31. And Alpha Security, $2,021.13.
I move we pay the invoices as stated, Mr. Mayor, from the General Operating Fund.
You heard the motion by Councillor Cheney. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Fitzsimmons. Question?
Mr. Mayor, in regards to Smith Monuments and Northhead Cemetery repairs, what repairs were done? I know that we're kind of responsible for the Northhead, what was it, I guess, that was done, I guess?
Well, we do, this council inherited perpetual care from amalgamation, and that would be the headstones.
Okay.
And Swallowtails, I guess I haven't been there for a little bit. The parking, all the parking down the road?
No, not all of it, no, just down the hill that they had a problem getting up.
Oh, okay, right.
It was continually washing out. Mr. Mayor, a couple of these items, particularly the paving at Swallowtail and Alpha Security are unbudgeted items. Not a critical comment for this evening's meeting, but future evenings, could council have a source where 11,000 and the amount for Alpha Securities came from out of the budget?
Well, that's budget, it's a budgeted item,
We know what they're coming from.
isn't
Yeah.
it? Christmas lights?
Christmas lights are coming
Okay.
from Christmas.
All right, so then strictly the Dudley's,
The lighthouse maintenance line.
the lighthouse maintenance fund, okay,
Okay.
that was easy. Thank you.
No problem.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 14 is closed session, personnel.
And the Regional Service Commission. And RSC as well.
Right.
I move we adjourn to closed session.
Heard the motion by Councilor Morse. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilor Patel. Question? All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Our next regular council meeting is here Monday, January the 8th. Call this meeting back to order after being in closed session, and we was in closed session for personnel and the Regional Service Commission.
Mr. Mayor, the first item under personnel was Christmas bonuses. And maybe that was the second item, but I'm gonna deal with it first. I move that we award staff their Christmas bonuses at the levels we discussed in closed session.
That's second.
You heard the motion by Deputy Mayor Moses, seconded by Councilor Morris. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Mayor, the second item under personnel was our new temporary clerk. We would like to award her extra hours starting the first of the year, bring her up to full-time.
Thank you.
So,
I made that motion.
you heard the motion by Deputy Mayor Moses. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll second.
Seconded by Councilor Sturgeon. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And, Mr. Mayor, the Regional Service Commission 10 has presented their annual budget, and they've asked for a meeting on the 14th for someone from council to come prepared to vote on the budget, with authority from council to vote on the budget.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that Deputy Mayor Moses be a representative and that he votes at his discretion in support of that budget.
You heard the motion by Councilor Sturgeon. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilor Morris. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is that it? Okay, that's Councilor Morris.
I move to adjourn.
I shall second.
Moved and seconded. Would we adjourn? Good night.
So they haven't done their budget yet?
They've done their budget.